the opportunity to hear your word grow in you. And while we don't understand all that goes on, we know we serve a God who loves us, a God who made a way for us, another way, who sent his only Son to die for us on a cross over 2,000 years ago, so that we might have hope. In your precious name, amen. So we are in the third part of the series, Tough as Nails. And we've been looking at various aspects of our faith and the world we live in today. Once upon a time, there were no Democrats or Republicans, no Constitution, no Bill of Rights, no First Amendment, no Second Amendment. There was no religious liberty. Once upon a time, there was just Rome. A republic was no longer a republic because it had transitioned into an empire under the leadership of Caesar Augustus, the very first emperor of Rome. And as he ruled, there was a baby born in Judea, in Bethlehem, and the fame and the renown of this Jewish baby would eventually eclipse the fame and the renown of the first Roman. In fact, the fame of the Jewish baby would eventually eclipse the fame of every single Roman empire, of the entire Roman Empire, of its entire history. And he would see the justice of the empire, and the duplicity and the hypocrisy of the temple, and he would teach that we are to love our neighbor, that we love our enemy, that we're to turn the other cheek, that we're to give everyone. And eventually, betrayed by a friend. Condemned by the temple, crucified by the empire, and today, that baby is worshipped throughout the entire world. And that baby said, "Follow me." That baby said, "I am the way and the truth and the life, and no man comes to the Father but by." 2,000 years. He's alive. He rose from the dead. Julius Caesar is dead. All the multitude of Roman emperors are dead. Most of us couldn't name most of the Roman emperors. There's a couple, maybe one or two. But he outlasted the empire. He outlasted the temple. And once upon a time, not too long after that, Christians would gather early in the morning on the first day of the week, and they would sing a hymn to Christ. And they would share a story and perhaps a fragment of a letter that they'd received or heard about from one of his followers. And they would renew their vow and their fidelity and their oath to be men and women above reproach, to be honest, to work hard. And in those little gatherings, in homes and in trees and in courtyards and even in graveyards, find both masters and slaves, men and women, children, farmers, merchants, Gentiles, Greeks, Romans, and even soldiers. And these pockets of people, as they gather, they believed the most unbelievable of things. They believed that God, and not stone, that everybody had intrinsic, not assigned value. And they believed that this put them at odds with the rest of the culture. They believed that the days of animal sacrifice had passed, and they too were betrayed by friends. They too were condemned by the temple, persecuted by the empire, and their influence spread like an airborne disease. And now, as we look at the early church and we recognize how God used them, we need to ask ourselves, it's our turn. Today, people in the history will look back at the generation of Christianity and they'll wonder what story they'll tell about our faith. Because we don't go to church, we are the church. We're stewards of the faith for our generation. I wonder what the story will be. Our story will be. What will they tell about us? So today, as we wrap up the series, I want to take you to a narrative in the book of Acts. It is extremely, extremely challenging. And the reason it's so challenging is because it reminds me, and hopefully there was once a version of Christianity that was absolutely awe-inspiring. There was once a version of Christianity that caused people to say, what is up with these people? There was once a version of Christianity that was so intriguing that even though people thought it was strange and the customs were weird